Family, I saw a sign just now on the way out here to the park. It said, give God or the Most High everything. And I thought it funny because this vehicle was on the side of the road, broke down. And even more humorous than that, the vehicle had a tire that was hanging off the vehicle up front. The right tire up front was basically hanging off the vehicle, broke down. And I said, oh boy, this lends itself right on into my idea or thought for today. And that is trust the Most High, period. And I actually saw this fellow on yesterday when he was getting out the vehicle. And little did I know at that time that he was facing them issues. And we're getting ready to go around by the vehicle so you can see it. But it appears to me that the fella wasn't least bit bothered about the situation. Now I can't tell for sure because I'm not in the fella's head, nor am I in his heart. Or should I say, was I in the fella's head so I could tell what he was thinking, or in his heart so I could tell what he was feeling about the situation. But when I actually saw this fella, now that I think back about it, he honestly acted like it was just another day at the office. And I'm not trying to feed into this situation more than I should to make a point. I'm just going by what I saw and what I felt from the fella and from the situation. I did notice that he had his hazards lights on, and from where I'm riding my bike, that's all I could see. But until I got off the highway today, coming from another viewpoint, I guess you would say, or seeing the situation from another view, let's get it, I saw that he was in a whole lot more of a situation than I thought. And I almost said trouble, but I dare not put something on somebody that they're not putting on themselves. So he might not even be looking at it as trouble, or as deep as some of us would. Because basically with that rim hanging off like that, he had some vehicle trouble. Pretty serious. And unless he's a mechanic, he's gonna have to have that truck towed. And even if he is a mechanic, he's gonna have to jack it up. Hey, he's gonna have to jack it up. To do the work on it. And that's a very busy spot where that vehicle is located. However, we'll take a look. But that was my idea for today. Trust the Most High, period. And what I mean by that is no matter what's going on, no matter the situation, no matter the storm, trust the Most High. And the thought I had around this idea, or the script, was the script that said, if you love me, keep my commandments. So I would think that that is also saying, if you trust me, do what I say. Now, some people might say, Robert, you trying to add to the word, but I would say not so. Because if you love somebody, basically, you trust them. And if you love them and they ask you to do something, just from simply love's sake, you're gonna do what they ask you. Knowing that the simple fact that you love them and they love you, they're not gonna steer you wrong. And see, this is one of the main ideas that the church has gotten wrong. They're saying that the laws are done away with. And yes, some laws are done away with. The law of making a sacrifice is done away with. We no longer have to offer a burnt sacrifice, because that sacrifice was already made once and forever. And certain things that we can't do in the land of our captivities. And a lot of times when someone speaks on following the laws, the statutes and commandments, they get a lot of pushback as far as what laws, statutes, and commandments the person speaking are not keeping themselves. But the question should be, why should I still be keeping the laws? Did the one that said follow me keep the laws? And did the one that say follow me as I follow the one that kept the laws, Christ? Paul said follow me as I follow Christ. If I'm not mistaken, that was Paul. Or are we supposed to follow him in keeping the laws, statutes, and commands? Now these fellas kept them. They kept every last one of them laws. See, we will misquote, misinterpret, and misread the scripts to get what we want out of it. Just like paying tithes is a part of the law, statutes, and commands. However, that's one that is set up for us to abide by when we're in our land. Yet and still the preachers, teachers, and some mores want you to pay them tithes and offerings. But they free you from the statutes, laws, and commands, which is going to hold you accountable for the sin in your life, which you do freely. Yeah, I know you might be saying, well, Robert, what does this have to do with trusting him? This is part of the trust issue. You can't trust nobody you won't listen to. You won't trust nobody you don't spend time with. Oh boy, you don't trust nobody you don't love. And many of folks may be saying, now I love him. I love sweet Jesus. I've been knowing sweet Jesus all my life. Okay, why don't you do what he tell you to do? Or we can simply bring it back to saying, okay, well, why don't you trust him? You might come back with the comeback, I do trust him. I trust sweet Jesus. He's done this for me. He's done that for me. He saved my life. More than one time. Okay. That's good. But do you trust him with your obedience? That's the thought right there. Do you trust the Most High with your obedience? Through Yahushua HaMashiach. And see, that's that truck right there I was talking about straight ahead. Probably can't see it from here, but that front wheel is hanging off. Like I said, on the back of his truck, really where his tag is supposed to be, it said, give the Most High everything. Well, in all reality, it said, give God everything. But I don't call the Most High God. Because you have to make it and distinction as far as what gods there are. Because Yahushua said the God of this world has blinded the eyes so that folks can't see the glorious light of salvation. Or the glorious light of the gospel, or Basura, which is gospel in Hebrew. Yeah, I plan to come on out and jump back there on that little quiet spot back there. Yeah, I smelled that plant. That's why I stopped. And it's hard to say which direction I smelled it from, because the wind seems as if it's swirling. But we don't have to stop to get our idea in. We'll look up the scripts and put them into the recording and the description when we go back to editing it. And I had to go back in my yesterday's recording and take out a nice little chunk of the recording. And it's because of Revelations 2 and I believe 24 and 25. That was our text on yesterday. And what I did, I misquoted the text. I didn't misquote it, I misinterpreted it. I basically said that folks don't have the complete doctrine or complete doctrine, but what the text was saying, they was actually being taught false doctrine. So to keep from being completely right and a little bit wrong, which in reality, we could have looked at it as if not having the complete doctrine is wrong doctrine. But I didn't want to leave no kind of misunderstanding in it. So we went back and just took that portion out. I still think we were able to get our point across throughout the entire thought and ride yesterday. See, the important thing is you don't have to catch the ride, but a lot of times that's where a lot of meat of that thought is being spoken on. Like I said, what's up? This is my secret place when I'm out here on this bike. So I can hear a lot more from the Most High. And I have time to ponder it before I speak or misquote something. Because he's leading me into all truth. But all praises. I thought I'd just come back and explain myself in case it seems as if towards the end of the recording or in that thought I may have said like I said before, and you may be like, well, you didn't say that before. And that's pretty much the reason why. However, I think on the most part, we got it straight. It's a nice stroke there, man. No doubt. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to hear. Somebody appreciate you appreciating what they showed you. Like I said, I ride by people shooting a ball and may go across a bush or a tree and hadn't been able to see the complete shot. And I'd be asking myself as a shooter, I wonder if they made that. It sure looked good. But when you do see it, it's always good to give somebody praise for the good they are doing. And see, I think also that's what I was doing yesterday. Because just like myself, I was out there on that incomplete / false doctrine. So man, for a long time. Thank the Most High for the grace that He showed me. He called me out of my darkness into the wonderful light. Or out of that blindness that Hasatan had me blinded by. It's just like being a chap and asking that same question. Do you trust your parents? Yep. Why? Because they feed me, they clothe me, they take care of me. They never steered me wrong. Every time they told me something, it worked out just like they told me. Okay. Same thing with the Most High and His Word. And on the way over, the Most High reminded me that we have a tendency to trust who we're around the most. Oh boy. Because like the old saying goes, I'll trust you as far as I can throw you. So that's basically saying, I'll trust you while you're here to prove me wrong. Like the text we read over yesterday, basically in my own words, since you obey me while you're in my presence, obey me when you're not. to the parents part, in that example, see, I think the tough part in that is, and the distinction between a loving parent and the Most High. It's always like we question our parents' love for us when they have to discipline us. And I think a lot of times we do the same with the Most High when He has to discipline us. Or when we question our parents because they won't give us what we want, when we want it, and how we want it. So there has to be some kind of line drawn in the sand. And I say line drawn in the sand, but there must become an understanding in our hearts and minds that the Most High loves us as well as our parents. And that's a period behind that, just like with this trust factor. Do you trust Him, period? With nothing else added or nothing taken away from the thought. It's either a yes or a no. And then it's the next question, why and why not, or why not? Why yes or why not no? And then after that, the question is how? How do you trust Him? Or should we say, how do you prove you trust Him? Just like the text says, if you love me, keep my commandments. So just like any good chapter, we're going to do what He asks us to do to show our love and trust. Because as I've learned, you don't do what somebody tells you to do if you don't trust them. They have had to build up some kind of foundation of love, only if it's superficial. Because what we'll do is we'll follow what the author of the book said, but won't follow what the Most High, the author of the most important, most selling book in all history, said. And that brings up a whole nother idea. Why is that book sold so much? For one, people want to know for themselves. lot of times they want to go back and read it after their lying pastor done lied to them to make sure, because they don't 100% wholeheartedly trust it. And see, that's a good idea. Yes, it is. However, at the same time, you're still incomplete in your study. Because as I've learned, if you don't have, for one, the Ruach HaKodesh leading you into all truth, then whatever you read is going to be a lie or backwards. And the next thing is, you can't understand the book completely if you don't know who the real people of the book is or are. See, we have an incomplete understanding of the Most High's words. Irregardless of how many copies are sold, who actually comes out with their own version, which 9 times out of 10 is one of them lying preachers trying to make it say what they've been saying or to fit their doctrine. Boy, that cardboard stinks. I thought I'd take that inside loop, then circle back around to make it probably an extra mile while I'm over here in the warehouse district. Yeah, that trust issue has to be proven and made right. When you tell somebody you trust them, you gotta prove it. You tell your wife you love her and you trust her, you're not gonna be following her everywhere she goes, or calling her every few minutes, wanting to know what the business is. No, you already know. Your love has said that. I had to swing wide because young fella don't act like he can drive. I know a lot of times kids be out in this area practicing. Yeah, he almost about to hit the other side of the road, trying to avoid me. And I'm way over here. I would love to be a fly on the dashboard of that truck. To see just how much he knew. Or, like with my idea about somebody shooting the ball, if he really can drive or not. Put that phone down there. Took that shortcut yesterday. We're gonna ride on to the road. Trusting, period, with your obedience. And I saw one of my friends post that they were in worship. Basically, they was at church doing worship service. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. That's all well and fine. Especially while you're there, if you're worshiping Him in spirit and in truth. Yes, indeed. But even more importantly, are you living a lifestyle of worship? Which the text says, those that worship Him must worship Him in spirit and in truth. So are you living a lifestyle of walking in spirit and walking in the truth? Or should I say walking by the spirit and being led into the truth and walking into that truth? Because as the Most High also was dealing with me about this thought on the way over, or as I was editing the other one and thinking about this one, yesterday's thought was coming out to go in. And what was the main topic we changed it to? Maintain until I come. Maintain until I come. Coming out to get in. And see, we were speaking on, you gotta have a spiritual foundation for everything you believe in and everything you do. Because everything is spiritual first. Or should we say it has its birthing place, or it's born out of the spirit. So this thought of maintain until I come can be the heading on this one too. Do you trust Him, period? See, you can't, like we said on yesterday, come out to get in. Or should I say, you can't get in if you don't first come out. And as Revelations 2:24 and 25, I believe, says, you have been taught doctrines of devils. But the truth that you do have, hold on to it until the Most High comes. And the text I read over earlier, which I added to this thought, was don't be deceived by any man. And see, this is instructions that Yahushua was giving his disciples. I want to say this is in Revelations also, but I had to look it up to be sure. I actually think I have it in my notes. Like I said, I looked it up. I was nodding to that truck driver that I saw. He swung his tail at me. I was just acknowledging that fact that he had swung out his hind part on me. Or should I say swung it in. Probably because he didn't like where I was on the road. And that's fine, as long as you don't hit me. Right now I'm in the valley of decision. Which way I want to go, which way you want to go. And I just got the image download, load into my rock where we're heading. And basically today we're going to do what we didn't do yesterday. Or should I say, when that image was downloaded into my Ruach yesterday, I hurried up and deleted it. But see, the coach made us make up for it at the end of our ride yesterday. Which I feel he's always given us a choice. He's saying, okay, you can go this route now, or you can go this other route later. Which way you want to go? You choose. saw the camera. I guess he said I'm gonna make a nice shot for the camera, and don't. So you gotta have be a seasoned baller. You can jump in front of the camera and hit bottoms, and it don't even move you that the camera is there. Or take your attention. You're not distracted. Well, that's a good thought. Oh, that's an excellent thought. Because it lends itself right on into our thought for today. As to the question, why not? Distract. I think when I looked it up, it said that it grows to 12 feet. From 3 feet to 12 feet. I think the description said of the plant. And one of them said it was a devil's something tree or bush. And the next description said it was a Lazarus bush. And both of them looked the same to me. However, as we continue to investigate what it is, we'll find out. And like I said, hopefully we'll see the owner of the actual tree in this neighborhood out and about in his yard. Because I just want to simply ask him, what kind of tree is this? And if he seems kind enough, I'm going to ask him for a piece of it. But if not, we'll get it. I remember one time, a few years back, when all of this was flooded. The whole park over there was flooded. Revolution Park. I'm not talking about flooded like it floods now, but being flooded to the point where all of this was underwater. It was real bad. And it flooded so bad that all the creeks attached to each other were flooded all the way out to University, if I'm not mistaken. where one of my sister-in-law's friend, her and her daughter died in that flood. Now the hows and the ifs and whats, I don't care to speak on because I don't know them all. But I do know that fact. It was at the same time that all this flooding took place. Way over here on this side, that was also flooding on the other side of town. Plan on that stop. From time to time, my attention, like we were saying, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you, Most High. My attention is taken by distractions. Y'all see how he brought that idea we had before, when we were gonna sit down and speak on our thought. We walked into it talking about distractions. Or we were heading to sit down to take our break and expound on our thought more, talking about these distractions and how distractions will steal our trust. See, that's just like more than ever here lately. When it's my study time, all kinds of hell break loose. To the point is somewhat of the norm, to where I know it's coming. So but that reminds me of the script. One speaking on trust. When you go through the water, you will not be drowned. When you go through the fire, you won't be burnt. Why? Because he's with us. See, that text there pretty much is a really good foundation for our thought today. because you're gonna go through that fire and you're gonna go through that flood. But the whole point is, do you trust him? Period. So it's not a point of if, it's a point of when. When that flood comes. And until another text speaks, it says when Hasatan comes in, then like a flood, the Most High lifts up a standard. Not when Hasatan comes in like a flood. I don't see him. But that planet is stinking. And I mean stinking in a good sense today. I would say it looks like a holly bush or holly tree bush, but instead of the berries, there's little white flowers. And instead of the short, prickly leaves of the hollow bush or plant or tree, they're longer. But it still looks like they're prickly. And I think they bloom in the fall. I be seeing a lot of guys on motorcycles these days. They really should be on a bike. And how? They be having that stomach hanging over the gas tank. And it's a really not a good look. Not at all, not at all. There you go. I figure that gave us at least 2 miles. Do you trust him? Period. And the right answer would be I trust him, period. How you doing? Good, good. Be safe. Yeah, I was looking at that trampoline. I was gonna say, that's one of them type trampolines that you will see on YouTube a lot. In the section under fail. Where folks always too big be the first ones want to jump on the little bitty baby boy or baby girl trampoline. And end up going through it, hurting themselves. And I'm not a bit more saying I like to see people get hurt. However, at the same time, those be some funny videos to me. That's a fine place to dump your tires. Let somebody else take care of it.
Sliding on me.
learn not to give folks my right of way. And if I do, I gotta make sure it's the best outcome for myself in doing so. I be seeing that sign every time I pass through here. Let justice pour down. I believe like the anointing or the oil that was poured down from Aaron's beard. I don't know, I have to look that up. But first, that justice has to start in the church house. Like I say, on this corner, we have one here, one back there. All around the block, there's a church. You see, they got a sign out on the front porch talking about let justice flow down. Justice starts in the pulpit, or should. At the head, or the top. But when there ain't no justice being preached, how can we expect any kind of justice coming down? Well, it's not. Simple as that. It's not coming. I see my park cleared up. Now all I want is a water break. crop out that camera. I would think they would have a trash can up front here by the play area. But like I say, this ain't my part. I can't tell other people how to run their business. Guess what I'm saying is what I would do if it was my part or under my management. Right now we're at 11.34 miles. So I imagine by the time we get back around here to Revolution, that we will be able to ride around in the park to get that mile. Because right now we're probably going to be at 12 miles once we get back around there. I was thinking about going back over to the Clanton Road Park from here, but we still got to stop off in 2 or go through Revolution Park. On the most part, anyway. By the way I go anyway, we're at the head of it. Or we go through the little play area. However you want to look at it. For 11.34 miles. It's not bad. That's a handsome picture. Indeed.